what's up? Welcome to A New Look, Fremont High's best
and only
television news magazine. I'm Lonnie Tremaine.
And I'm Alex Santana. And as you know, we try to find show topics that we think are going to affect you, our viewers, all thousands of you. Okay, hundreds.
Let's try dozens, including Mom. Anyway, all right, enough talking. Let's get started.
All right, cool. You know, we usually find our show ideas on the net. Last week, we took a spin in that electric car. Wasn't that so cool?
Very
I
cool.
loved it. And this week, today, what we are going to do is...
Well, actually, I was surfing the net, and I found the pork website.
I love it.
Very cool. This stuff is so cool. It has all this wild stuff about pork.
Check it out. Farmers have put their pigs on a diet. I guess that's why they're calling it the other white meat, huh?
Yeah, and so A New Look takes a new look at all the new and improved leaner hogs.
Hey, guess who's on today?
Madonna.
No, it's not Madonna.
Still wishing.
It's Mrs. Susan Snyder. She's a registered dietitian at the Fremont Health Center, and she has got the skinny on pork. And she's going to talk about those great food pyramids of Egypt.
Huh?
You'll see.
Oh, but first we're headed into the locker room here at Fremont High. Can you close your eyes?
Hey, I got brothers at home.
Okay. Anyway, we're headed in. We're going to be talking with Coach Jackson, and I think the undefeated Bobcats have just finished basketball practice.
Very cool.
So, yeah, let's take a look.
All right.
Coach Jackson, you there? Hey, what's up?
I don't know. You asked me to be here. What's on your mind?
He's all business.
Listen, Coach, we're doing a show on pork, and we want to know what it does for your players.
Well, first off, how did you get a camera in my locker room?
Well, let's just say we have connections. So, hey, Coach, can pork build a better ball player?
Definitely. Pork contains complete protein. It has vital amino acids which help build and repair muscle and body tissue.
Well, cool. So, can we get concrete here? Can you show us your strategy?
Well, I tell all my players to get a balanced diet. Protein plus exercise builds strength.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Muscles, you know?
Yeah.
Protein also helps keep your immune system in tip-top shape.
Hey, what about energy and stamina?
Well, pork is rich in the B vitamins like thiamine and niacin and riboflavin. They help our bodies digest food and release energy. Keeps my boys alert and active. Also, pork is rich in iron, and iron helps the blood carry nutrients and oxygen to all parts of the body. You may want to know, Alex, that women are especially susceptible to low iron deficiency.
Wow.
It makes you feel run down and tired.
Really, do your players eat pork?
I don't know. Let's grab one to find out. Ryerson, you're up.
Yeah, Coach.
Great.
Hey, Ryerson, we're doing a show on pork, and we want to know if you eat a lot of it when you're training.
Oh, sure. My mom makes pork dishes all the time during basketball season. Stuff like pork stir fry or pasta loaded with carbohydrates and vegetables.
Thanks, man. Hey, thanks to you, Coach.
No problem. Next time, make sure you give us a little bit of warning before you come in the locker room.
Sorry.
What
Right.
are you boneheads standing around gawking at, huh? All right, everyone in. Drop and give me 20. Let's go.
I could,
Champions
I
amazing
could never
off-season.
do that.
Bye.
I can't do that. Okay, well,
All right.
we're going to be leaving them, and we're going to be,
We're going to head up to the kitchen.
Yeah?
Our kitchen. Well, actually, it's a food lab, but they let us use it.
with the miracle of technology. Watch this. We're going to, like, beam in there. Ready?
Really, it's just editing.
Hey, that was pretty
Cool.
cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to introduce Mrs. Snyder.
All right,
Mrs.
Miss
Snyder.
Snyder.
They're applauding for you.
Hello,
Snyder.
guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much
Mrs.
for
Snyder.
being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, let's get down to it. Pork has gotten a bad rap in the food world, but things have changed, right?
Things have changed. As you know, people are more concerned than ever about their diets. They want something that's low in fat, but that really tastes great. And today's pork really fits the bill. That's why it's just 31% leaner than it was 10 years ago, but it still has that same great taste.
So, pork is pretty healthy.
Absolutely. You need to look at the big nutrition picture. Let's take a trip to the Great Pyramids of Egypt.
All right, cool.
Right.
Virtual field trip.
Sand dunes.
Sure. Well, anyway, pyramids have powers. Supposedly they focus energy, and the way that they're built with their broad foundation, that gives them the strength to stand up over time. And they're also a great way to explain things. So good that the USDA, that's the United States Department of Agriculture, uses a pyramid to recommend the most healthy diet.
All right, cool.
Pork is a part of the meat, poultry, fish, dry beans, eggs, and nuts group.
Wow.
And the USDA recommends we have 2 to 3 servings of this group a day. And the beauty about pork is that it goes so well with foods from other parts of the pyramid, like vegetables and fruits, pastas and grains. So this way, it's easy to make great tasting, balanced meals with pork.
Mrs. Snyder, what's the deal with the other white meat slogan? What's that all about?
For years, Lonnie, everyone thought that turkey and chicken were the only lean white meats. But various cuts of pork nowadays are as lean as chicken, making it truly the other white meat.
So, do you have some quick and easy pork recipes that we can make here?
I thought you'd never ask.
All
right.
Let's get cooking.
Okay,
Food
cool.
time.
One of my favorite recipes is braised barbecue pork chops. It has only 4 ingredients and just 8 grams of fat per serving.
All right. Well, it looks like you have everything already set up here. So what do we do?
Well, it couldn't be easier. First, you're going to take 4 boneless pork chops. Chops are one of the most popular cuts of pork, and they only have about 6 grams of fat per serving. Now, these chops are going to go into a shallow glass pan or a plastic storage container, and you've got the pan ready to go.
All
Why
right.
don't you go ahead, Lonnie, and put those in the pan. I also like to use resealable plastic bags for this as well. Now, Alex and I are going to make the marinade while you do that.
All right.
Okay. What's a marinade?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. A marinade is what's going to give this recipe flavor. A marinade is a seasoning mixture usually made with an acid ingredient like wine or vinegar or fruit juice. To that, we're going to add some oil and usually seasonings like pepper, herbs, spices, and garlic. So we've got here 1/4 cup of reduced fat Italian dressing. That's got our acid ingredient already mixed in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and put that in the bowl.
All right.
And then to that, we're going to add 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce. And go ahead and stir that up. And then to add a little extra flavor, 1 teaspoon of chili powder.
See, now that smells great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to heat up the pan in the meantime because the next step is to brown these.
Okay. How's that?
That looks really good.
Okay.
Okay. Give those to Lonnie and he can pour those over.
All right.
Okay. As I said, you need to let it soak for at least 30 minutes. If not overnight. When I make these chops at home, I usually do it the night before and let them sit in the fridge covered with plastic, and they're ready to go for the next day.
That looks so good.
But for today's show,
Does.
we've got some chops already
That's
to
right.
go. Okay.
Here they are. Ready? Voila.
Great. Now this has got the marinade already. It's been marinated overnight. Okay. And what we're going to do is brown the meat, brown the chops on both sides.
Okay.
Just take that from you.
This looks.
And that just takes a few moments.
I
And
love that sound.
it smells really good. And the browning is going to allow the flavors to just mingle a little bit. It will sear it. We'll sear it on both sides. Okay, we can just fit 3 for now.
Okay.
Okay. I think we can turn these over.
Mmm.
And then we're going to turn the heat down to about medium and cover our chops. It'll take about 8 minutes to braise, and voila, perfect pork chops.
Wow, I am
Right.
so sad that we are out of time. But
know.
please stay around and finish these chops for us,
I
okay?
certainly will.
So we
I
can
look
get a
forward
taste
to
test.
it.
That's
Great.
right, because the only good test is a taste test. Okay, so join us next week when we talk with Joe the Butcher.
Who? What?
No, it's not that horrible. It's actually a new look on the road, finding out more facts about pork, like where to shop and how to chop.
And more recipes. In the meantime, check out the pork website at www.nppc.org/. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Basta.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
That's so good.
Just a few more minutes.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to a new look. I'm Alex. This is Lonnie. What do we got today?
Well, last week we were surfing the net and we found the pork website. Very cool stuff. Most importantly, recipes.
Your favorite.
That's right.
And this week we are back and we are in search of the leanest, tastiest pork in town.
Right. We are actually going to be doing some cooking with our favorite teacher right here.
Well,
Technically, up in the food lab. Yeah, and I cannot wait because I skipped lunch today and I'm starving.
yeah, what's new? But first, a field trip.
Right, this is so cool. Okay, we can't actually leave the studio, so what we've done is we've rigged up a voice-controlled shopping cart to do the shopping for us.
Very cool.
Uh-huh.
His name is Carl, the shopping cart cam. This is really tricky. Watch this.
Oh, right.
Okay. All right, boy. Go find the meat department manager.
Slow down, slow down, slow down! What? Watch out for that lady! Okay. There he is.
Excuse me, are you the meat department manager?
Yeah, hi, I'm Joe Leathers. Can I help you?
Hey, Mr. Leathers, it's Lonnie Tremaine and Alex Santana from New Look. Thanks for agreeing to be on our show today. Just so you know, there's a camera in the shopping cart, and that's going to be recording the interview today.
You know, I knew these shopping carts were smart, but I didn't know how smart they were.
Yeah.
Mr. Leathers, my family eats a lot of pork chops and ham, but is there any other cuts of meat you can tell us about?
Well, if you just walk through my meat department, and you'll see all kinds of pork, from fresh pork to further processed pork. I mean, hams, bacon, sausage, hot dog. Go through the service meat case, and you'll see all kinds of new kinds of pork, from a rack of pork to a crown roast. So there's a lot of stuff out there that pleases a lot of different people.
I know, but that's a lot. Is there something that you recommend?
Well, it depends on the occasion. It depends on the budget. Depends on how many people you're going to feed. If it's a holiday, you might want to have a crown roast or a rack of pork or a ham. Or if it's just a family get-together, you might want to have a boneless pork loin on the grill. So pork can be pan-fried. It can be stir-fried. There's many things that you can utilize pork with.
What would you say is an average serving size of pork?
Well, I guess the easiest way to look at a serving size is a 3-ounce portion. And what is 3 ounces? Well, it's about the size of a deck of cards.
Hey, deal me in. What about those lean cuts? Where do those come from?
Well, most of the lean cuts come from the loin. Now, the loin is the upper part of the hog. If you looked at a picture of a pig, if you look at right through the middle of it, that's the loin, and that's where the leaner cuts come from.
Well, from what you said, it sounds like there are a lot of lean cuts from the loin. Can you show us some of them?
Well, there are a lot of cuts that come from a pork loin. Actually, I have a pork loin here, and I'd love to cut it up and just show you some of the real basic stuff. If I was just to take the knife and just make one cut like that, you see how easy that was? That's about a 3-ounce portion right there. Now, if I was to make that same cut, but stop almost all the way through, that's where you get the terminology butterfly pork chop. As you can see, it looks like a butterfly. Now, my favorite one is what I call a double stuffed pork chop. Actually, make it kind of thick like that, but like I did before, I butterflied it. Then you got to be real careful when you do this. You notice I butterflied, then I turn it over. Then what I do is I make a pocket on each side. That's where I can stuff each side of that and close it up like that there, and the stuffing will stay inside the pork chop. But what I like to do is I like to turn it into a puppet. It's kind of cute, huh? Really don't play with your pork at home, but you can have fun with pork.
Very cute.
Another thing you can do with pork, though, is you can take it, cut that same chop like I did before, and let's say I wanted to have stew. All I do is cut it into bite-sized pieces. Again, if I want to have a little fancier meal, I cut that thick pork chop, and I want to make kebabs, so I make kebabs. Or if tonight I want to go home and have a stir-fry meal, I simply cut another pork chop and just make strips out of it like that there. Combine that with vegetables and rice, and I have a great meal. But you can see, you can have a lot of fun with pork and come up with a lot of interesting different cuts.
Well, we have one last question for you, Mr. Leathers. What if we're not going to use it right away? How long can we keep it in the fridge?
I think the most important thing to do is when you buy a package of meat at a supermarket, and if you'll look, there'll be a date there. That date right there says use or freeze by. So use or freeze by February 5th, let's say. So if you bought it on the 4th, you'd want to use it either that night or the next night, or throw it in that package right in the freezer. Or the most important thing you can do is when you're buying a piece of meat, and let's say that this was a roast, is take it have your meat department manager wrap it in some nice freezer paper, mark the outside of it with what it is and what day you put it in there, because pork can be kept in the freezer for 6 months.
Pork popsicles.
Chill, Lonnie. Don't pay any attention to him, Mr. Leathers. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Now, when will this be on TV?
Well, actually, right now we're just watching it in the study hall, but we are talking to some networks.
Yeah,
There's a
right.
possibility-
Right. Anyway, thanks, Mr. Leathers. We really appreciate it. We'll send you a tape and let you know when it's going to be on. In the meantime, can you send Carl over to the ice cream aisle?
Carl, listen very closely now. Turn around, go out of my meat department, go down past the bread aisle, turn left, you'll run right into the ice cream aisle. And thanks very much for coming into my meat department.
Hey, we're back with more of a new look.
And now, Lonnie's favorite part of the show.
It's food time.
That's right.
That's right. Now, last month we had Sylvia Rios on, the head lunch lady at our school cafeteria, and she made this great, what is that, like marshmallow gelatin treat thing?
Okay,
and you just-
don't even go there,
was
Lonnie.
really
Today we have got Miss Colby from Foods class.
That's right. Now, that's our favorite class because we get to eat.
Let's bring her in.
Hey, Mrs. Colby.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Hello.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks
Nice
for
to
letting
see
us.
you.
Thanks for letting us invade your kitchen
We
here.
promise to clean up. No problem at all.
We do.
Oh, I see you've been to the store.
Yeah. Carl has.
Oh, yeah, that butcher had some great tips on shopping for and storing pork. Now, I'll give you some thawing lessons, and then we'll cook.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay, for thawing meat safely, I recommend defrosting them overnight in the refrigerator.
Okay, but say we don't have time. Can we nuke it?
Absolutely. But watch it very carefully, because if you leave it in the microwave too long, it will start to cook.
Oh, speaking of to cook, can we start to cook now? 'Cause
Okay, Lonnie,
I'm
chill.
a grown
All
boy.
right, all
I'm hungry.
right. Today we're going south of the border with Easy Taco Pizza, and that's using ground pork.
All right, sounds great. I
Good,
like
good.
the title Easy.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have everything ready to go. First, we want to combine the ground pork
Okay.
with the taco seasoning and cook for 10 minutes.
All right, let me just.
Now, I've already prepared the pizza crust according to the package directions. So
Right.
all I need you to do, Alex, is to take the pizza crust, spread it over the pan, and then top it off with the salsa.
Okay.
Now for the special ingredient. What is this? Taco seasoning?
Taco seasoning.
Taco seasoning. Miss Colby, what is the difference between ground pork and other ground meats?
Well, its taste sets it apart. Using ground pork on burgers, meatballs, and tacos are just a few great ways to add wonderful flavor to your recipes. After the ground pork is done, you simply want to sprinkle on the ground pork, and then you have your choice of cheese. Today we're using my personal favorite,
Yes.
which is Colby Jack.
Colby.
So go ahead and start sprinkling
That's
that
pretty
on.
Okay.
And let me get a little more ground pork. You want to try to get it as evenly as possible, so every bite you'll taste the cheese, you'll taste the ground pork, and it will be wonderful.
And the salsa.
And
Don't
the
forget
salsa.
the salsa.
Oh, how could you? And finally, we are going to add on the top crushed tortilla chips.
Mmm.
Okay, you put a few of those on for me.
Okay.
Now, once you have all that completed, you want to bake it in a 400 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 20 minutes or until the crust is golden brown.
Sounds good. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's go. I can wait 20 minutes for food.
Mm-hmm.
Slide that right in there.
All right.
That looks so good.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Can we eat this now? I'm starving.
Oh, Lonnie, just one more thing. Let's add some shredded lettuce and some olives.
Okay. Can I do
Okay.
this with my hands?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Please do. And remember to pay attention to the presentation,
Okay.
because somehow the food that looks good also tastes good.
All right.
And yes, Lonnie, now you can eat.
All right.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. We have to close the show and thank Mrs. Colby, okay?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Miss Colby. Bye. Bye.
Okay, anyway, thank you so much, Mrs. Colby, for joining us. The pizza looks so good, and I'm sure it tastes great. Join us next week when we are going to have more fabulous food. Lonnie, are you okay there? Don't worry, I'll make sure that he eats before the show.
Hey, come on in. Welcome back to A New Look.
I'm Alex Santana, and this is the man with the plan, my co-host and occasional friend, Mr. Lonnie Tremaine.
Oh, thank you very
Good to
much.
see you,
Thank you
Lonnie.
very much. Good to see you. Okay, today is Gourmet Food Day.
That's right. We are now pork professionals. We have been looking at the all-new pork. Lower fat, new image, and great dishes.
Farmers have actually put their pigs on diets, which means they're watching what they eat. They've hired personal trainers. They wear spandex. It's great.
Okay, not really. But pigs are being fed and bred to provide leaner meat. In fact, as Lonnie and I have learned, pork is now 31% leaner than it was just 10 years ago.
So, where to today?
Well, we are off to the renowned restaurant Marche, where Michael Ingram is the chef, and he is going to help us out with some pork dishes that we can cook at home.
All right, so first, let's check his place out.
Cool.
Hi, welcome to Marche. My name is Michael Ingram. I'm the chef today, and I'm going to take you through a tour of my restaurant and French bistro cuisine. Let's take a look. Thanks for joining us at Marche today, where fine cooking is fine art. Bon appetit.
That was so
That
cool.
was
That
great.
restaurant is beautiful, isn't it?
Excellent.
Well, we are glad you're back. Thanks for coming back to A New Look. And now we have got Chef Michael Ingram from Marche, that restaurant we just saw, in the studio. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Alex. Thanks
Lonnie,
for coming to our very
Thank
own
you for having me.
food lab.
That's
Okay,
right.
great.
Now, we noticed on the, you have some pretty fancy food we saw there on the clip at the restaurant.
Okay.
What was that dish that we saw?
Actually, you saw the roast rack of pork, and we served that with a little garlic with potato, sauteed tomato and green bean, and a Paris mustard sauce.
Oh, that sounds great. How can we eat like that at home?
Well, actually, there are many quick and delicious pork recipes you can make at home. The first thing to remember is to cook pork to what we call medium doneness. Now, juices, the cooking juices, should run clear, and there should be a faint blush of pink in the center. Overcook it, and it becomes tough, but it is so much more tender and succulent when cooked properly.
Well, see, I've always heard that you needed to cook pork well done.
That doesn't mean char it. All fresh meat and poultry needs to be handled correctly, but that doesn't mean overcook it. Otherwise, it becomes too tough, like shoe leather.
So,
Yummy.
what's on the menu today?
Okay, I brought along the ingredients to make apricot glazed pork kebabs.
Fruit on pork?
Definitely. Pork pairs well with so many different flavors. It is so versatile. As a matter of fact, pork is the #1 meat in the world.
Well, do they use pork in all countries?
Yeah, in most countries, yes, and you especially find a lot in Asian, Mexican, Pacific Rim, Caribbean, and of course American food. Pork is very versatile. In fact, I brought along a little video. Let's look at some of the great and colorful ways pork is used around the world.
Let's do it.
We have a clip. right,
Oh,
let's get
my-
started on those
That
kebabs,
looks
huh?
so
Okay.
good, yeah.
You know, the great thing about this recipe is we're using very simple ingredients. First, we're going to use a different shape, pork cubes, and then also a glaze made with apricot preserves, orange juice, and butter. Alex, why don't you get started and mix those ingredients together in the saucepan?
Okay.
Should take about a minute for them to melt together.
That sounds simple.
And Lonnie, why don't you help by getting started on the pork cubes?
All right.
Dump all
You
this
know,
stuff
actually, this is
together.
still a bit frozen.
Ah, that's a little trick I learned in culinary school. It is easier to cut if it's just a slight bit frozen, and it doesn't affect how it cooks.
It looks like this apricot glaze is almost done.
Good job, Alex. Now, what we want to do is put the pork cubes into the pan.
Okay.
Okay. Great job, Lonnie. And then pour the marinade or glaze right over the top.
Okay.
That up a bit.
Now, awesome. Great job, Alex, on this marinade. As you can see, the pork loin cubes are resting in the apricot glaze. And then what we're going to do is add fruit and vegetable on skewers and then cook it up. But first, we're going to cover with plastic wrap and let it marinate for 30 minutes.
I don't think we have 30 minutes left in the show.
Well, due to my careful preparation, voila, some finished pork kebabs.
Okay.
Now, as you can see on my skewers, I've added a little red pepper and green pepper with small pieces of corn on the cob. But you can use anything you like,
Even fruit?
even fruit.
So, how long does this take to cook?
About 10 minutes. Before we taste these kebabs, let's get started on another favorite of mine at the restaurant, pork roast.
Okay, that leads me to my next question about the restaurant. How do you choose the recipes that you're going to make?
Okay, of course, taste is most important.
course.
But for meat, we choose our cuts that are tender, low in fat, inexpensive, and easy to make. Now, pork is so versatile, and it works well with so many different flavors. That's also important.
Like what other flavors?
One of my favorites is cinnamon apple pork roast. It starts with a simple spice rub.
What's a rub?
Okay, here. I've combined some of the ingredients of black pepper, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And then you literally rub it on the roast.
Sounds
Okay,
great. Let's
yeah.
do it.
Okay?
All right. How do I do? Oh, is this what we're using?
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
if you could just rub in some of our spices and herbs.
All right. Do I just pour this whole thing on here?
Absolutely.
All right. I
Just rub it right in.
This is what I do. What exactly does a rub do?
It acts like a dry marinade in that it flavors the meat. As the pork is cooked, the herbs and spices from the rubs mix with the cooking juices.
Great. So what does he do now?
Okay, now we want to place it in the oven at about
Okay.
350 degrees Fahrenheit. And when the internal temperature reaches 155 to 160 degrees, you're done. Now, the cooking time depends on the size of the roast, and you can measure the internal temperature with a meat thermometer. Now, here's a roast I started cooking before the show today.
Okay. Oh, it looks like it's done.
It is. And this roast will taste great as it is, or I prepared a little warm apple cinnamon sauce.
May I?
Please.
Okay. Great.
Fruit. Haha, see? I'm learning.
Well, it's a wonder your restaurant is such a hot spot.
I know.
Thank you. Hey, how about we sample these pork kebabs?
All right.
Okay.
Finally.
Well, Lonnie, can you get
Can I-
some forks? And-
You know, I don't really need forks, but I have
Oh.
them here anyway.
Okay.
Lonnie, we have to wrap up the show. You cannot host a show and chow down at the same time. All right, I'll do the wrap up. You can eat as much as you want. Okay, thanks for joining us. But before we go, we want to do a quick look back at a lot of the shows that we've done on pork. And Michael, will you help us out?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. 1. Pork is now 31% leaner than it was just 10 years ago. Hence the name the other white meat. Several cuts are now as lean as chicken.
2. Pork has nutrients that help you build muscles, keep your immune system in shape, release energy, and stay active.
3. Pork is versatile, and it comes in a lot of different cuts, like cubes, strips, and ground.
4, pork goes well with lots of different flavors and tastes great.
As we know firsthand.
Thanks again, Michael, for joining
You're
us.
welcome,
we really
Alex.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll come and
Thank you.
visit you at
Lonnie,
Marche.
thank you.
Okay,
And
please
thank
do.
you for joining us for all of our pork shows. Next week, we are going to go to some virtual reality arcades. And I am so excited because I can't wait to put those goggles on and battle you in one of those games.
Yeah,
Okay, take it easy, everybody. See you later.
I'm going to eat.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna try to-